Welcome to this art encounter from the Henry Moore Institute in Leeds. The Henry Moore Institute was set up by world-famous sculptor Henry Moore, who was from down the road in Castleford and studied here in Leeds. He set up the Institute as a centre for the study and enjoyment of sculpture, and we have galleries, an archive and a sculpture library. We hold exhibitions, talks and events all about sculpture. In this art encounter, we're going to explore a piece from our current exhibition, Archive Lives, documenting women's sculptural practice in Britain, 1939 to 1960. Mitzi Cunliffe was an American sculptor who spent most of her life in the UK. Born in New York in 1918, she moved to Europe through her studies and then settled in the UK, where she married a British academic. She worked with a variety of materials on a scale ranging from jewellery through to huge public sculptures, particularly for sites like schools, universities and high streets. She called herself a sculptor for architecture and often created work to be displayed on the side of a building. You may have a Mitzi Cunliffe piece near where you live. Her smaller scale work also had a big impact on British culture, as Cunliffe is probably best known for designing the Golden Mask Awards handed out at the BAFTAs. This maquette, which is part of the Leeds Sculpture collection, is of a really key piece in Mitzi Cunliffe's career for a sculpture called Root Bodied Forth. A maquette is a small model made by an artist when they plan a sculpture, a bit like a smaller draft version of the final piece. Root Bodied Forth was created for the Festival of Britain in 1951, which was a huge cultural event designed to raise the spirits of the country after the Second World War. Cunliffe's sculpture appeared alongside many others at the site on the South Bank in London, including one of Henry Moore's reclining figures, and a number of works by sculptors who were women, which was really significant at a time when it was much harder for women to become sculptors. So let's take a closer look at the maquette for Root Bodied Forth. We can see two figures in this sculpture. They're simplified, slightly abstracted. They don't look like real people. There is this long shape at the back that extends from the back of the body down into the ground, and these long intertwining shapes that start from their arms and then loop together and grow upwards. The maquette's made from bronze, which is a metal. It has a shiny surface, which is slightly brown, slightly green. And we know from photographs and drawings of the Festival of Britain that the final sculpture was 8 feet tall and made from terracotta concrete. And we know from the watercolours that it was actually painted a dusky pink colour. We wouldn't know that from the photographs because they're all black and white. So what do you see when you look at this sculpture? What do the shapes that extend down from the bodies to the earth and up to the sky look like to you? Do they remind you of anything? Remember, there are no wrong answers when it comes to exploring art. All your ideas and opinions are important. Pause the video now to note down your ideas or discuss them with people in your group. So now you've thought about your first impressions of Root Bodied Forth, let's dig a little deeper. We can see natural organic forms in this sculpture, and we can use the title Root Bodied Forth to guide our thinking. This shape, which anchors the figures to the ground, might remind us of roots. The long arms which extend upwards may also remind us of plants or tree branches growing from the two figures. We should also note that there are two figures that appear to be growing together rather than just one, and the figures are connected by these branch-like arms. The textures and details on the surface are also quite organic, maybe reminding us of tree bark. In the photos of the finished sculpture, we can see that Cunliffe applied this bark-like texture to the whole sculpture. When we explore the meaning behind an artwork, we can think about what we can see happening in the piece, the person who made it and how they made it, but it's also important to think about the historical context of the piece. So what was happening in the world when this piece was made? And if it was made for a particular event or exhibition, how that might have shaped the themes of the piece. We know that Root Bodied Forth was made for the Festival of Britain, a huge national event that took place just 6 years after the Second World War had ended. At the time, many cities still lay in ruins from the war, and the festival wanted to present ways of redeveloping and rebuilding the country. So, knowing this, does this change the way you see the sculpture? What message do you think Root Bodied Forth might have been trying to get across? Pause the video now to discuss or write down your ideas. An interesting fact about this sculpture is that although we have the maquette and lots of photographs of the sculpture at the Festival of Britain, the original sculpture has now been lost. Cunliffe was a less well-known sculptor at the time, and this sculpture was made in concrete for a temporary festival, so it may not have lasted that well. Other sculptures from the festival have been recently discovered in private collections, and there's hope that, with renewed interest in Cunliffe's work, her piece might yet be rediscovered. So can you take inspiration from Root Bodied Forth to make a sculpture of your own? As we come out of the pandemic, many of us are realising how important our connection to nature is for our well-being. We're also very aware of the climate crisis and how our planet's future is dependent on how we treat the natural world. So the themes Mitzi Cunliffe explored through this piece over 70 years ago are relevant in a new way today. Could you take inspiration from this piece to design or make a sculpture themed around the human connection to nature and the earth? Or perhaps the idea of growing and rebuilding after hard times? You could draw some ideas for a sculpture or make a maquette of your own using clay or plasticine. If your sculpture was to be made at full size, where would you want it to be displayed? We'd love to see what you make, so please share photos of your artwork with us. Thanks for watching this art encounter. We hope you've enjoyed finding out more about this artwork. You can visit our YouTube channel to see art encounters from previous exhibitions and subscribe to see new episodes.